Hey everyone, my name is Cole. I want you to think about something you are passionate about. I'm not just talking about something you enjoy or admire. I mean something that you have pure and unfiltered devotion for, that you desire it and nothing else. This idea of passion, followed by a craving for perfection, is what this video is based around because of David Fincher's new film, The Killer. The film recently dropped on Netflix and is another Fincher classic. At the end of it all, the first thing I was left with was, the killer is literally me. The film is about an assassin whose fateful near miss on a job leads him to battling his employers along with himself. The assassin is cold, methodical, and unencumbered by qualms or regrets. This concept is cool, sleek, just like the style of the film. Fincher does another incredible job at directing, but this film is very unique in his filmography, as it is seemingly an art piece for himself to vent his innermost thoughts as an artist. You see, Fincher is a meticulous perfectionist, just like The Killer. The film tackles the pains of professionalism and the desperation that sets in when an avoidable mistake is made. Fincher thinks everything through and is famously known to indulge in repetition. He is known for filming scenes over and over again to get the perfect take. Our main character even repeats the same lines constantly throughout the film.
Your plan. Never yield an advantage. Stick to the plan. Fight only the battle you're paid to fight. Ask yourself, what's in it for me? Stick to the plan. Empathy, weakness, vulnerability. This is what it takes if you want to succeed.
The killer is ultimately engulfed in his profession. As a creative, you are sometimes isolated to your own thoughts and feelings, finding the action of nothing to be exhausting. I love when the main character of the film is stating random facts in the beginning of the film. Why? Every film by Fincher has some of the most absurd but well thought out scripts and plot points that you have to be a genius to know or understand. This inner discussion of the killer is a reflection of Fincher's own psyche and how he operates in his day-to-day. All of these ideas can constantly run throughout the mind, but sometimes you cannot do anything with them while you wait to paint your next picture, film your next movie, or kill your next target. You live in your own world and you wallow in it. You obsess over your craftsmanship and patiently wait to execute it. The dive into the mind of the main character builds an image for the audience to perceive the killer as a master of his craft, one who can or never will fail due to his knowledge and experience. This eventually leads to the first target he has been patiently waiting to kill, which if you have watched the film, you know this expert and master of his art misses, which leads to him being forced to escape the botched job. I've seen a few people complain about the killer missing his shot and saying it was, and I quote, easy, unquote, as if they are trained assassins who can hit a shot from that angle perfectly 10 out of 10 times. Sure. My question to those select few are, isn't him missing the mark the point? As an artist, you may hit the mark 99 out of 100 times, but there will always be that one moment where you miss. What happens if you believe you have perfected your craft, but you fail? That is the motivator behind the film, missing the shot that you should have hit. The initial thoughts and feelings from the killer are shock and frustration. He is in utter disbelief that he missed and is dumbfounded that he could ever do that. An aspect of the film that I truly adored was how the camera was calm and on a tripod until the killer missed his shot, which then changed to some form of handheld to add a camera shake, symbolizing our main character losing control of the situation and himself. This is similar to what David Fincher did at the end of Seven. As a director who has been making films for decades, Fincher's internal conflict of, have I lost my skill? Am I done for? How did this happen? Are questions that will lurk and stick with you. This self-loathing and deconstruction of oneself is so relatable for artists. This denial and personal judgment is elevated once the killer's employers try to kill him. His employers, from my interpretation at least, are critics and those who doubt or judge Fincher's work, or any artist's work for that matter. Despite countless jobs completed and efficiency in the killer's career, his employers turn against him the second he failed his job. No empathy, no remorse. The bloodthirsty and unrelenting nature of the employers is very similar to the hate and judgment from critics and those who dislike Fincher's work. We are all critics at one point or another, and we are also receivers of that same harsh criticism. The story of the killer is essentially following the main character in his quest to get revenge against his employers who turn against him in his failure to execute the job. That near miss haunts the killer. It sticks with him throughout the entire film and lingers in his mind constantly. The obsession and constant contemplation of the events that led up to the missed shot begins to affect his future work. On his spree of kills and hunt for the employers, there are a few hiccups that lead to more close calls and setbacks for the killer. This is reminiscent of how one failure or minor setback can haunt an artist, causing them to get in their own head and making more mistakes while trying to be perfect and flawless. Near the end of the film, despite flawed execution and close calls, the killer receives his closure from his brutal retaliation from those who turned against him. As an artist, the sweetest revenge is creating something that haunts the viewer and has an effect on those who witness it. Fincher has quite an extensive and profound filmography. The Killer is not batshit crazy that makes you want to walk out of the theater saying, "What did I watch?" It's bleak, dark, and bitter. But that's the point. The craving of perfection in art and the attempt to find justification of your skill can be just that. To the point and, even at times, less than what we hoped. I believe Fincher wanted to create something that allows him to vent, but also provides comfort for those who are aspiring filmmakers. Going in, I was expecting some loony and off-the-rails spy thriller, but instead I got an honest and brutal therapy session from one of the most experienced and passionate filmmakers of our time. Fincher is very critical of his work. He is very judgmental of his films and how they have been perceived. Despite all of this, he has persevered and created some of the greatest films in history. Sometimes, life doesn't go as planned. You may not get the reception you hoped for, the shot you envisioned, or the praise you hoped would be apparent. But it is key to learn from your mistakes and not allow it to negatively affect your future art, but rather use those mistakes as building blocks to elevate your craft. As you can see from the title of the video, the killer is literally me. I myself have these thoughts and the sense of over-obsession as an artist that it can hurt me. This film is a perfect addition to Sigma Cinema, as you could call it, along with Fight Club, Drive, and more. I think deep down, we are all simply just like him. If you are an artist, go ahead and watch The Killer and immerse yourself in the psycho killer who enjoys the Smiths, avoids eating too many carbs, and obsessed over his work and strives for nothing short of perfection. Let me know what you thought of The Killer and how it has impacted you as an artist. And if you don't mind taking a few minutes out of your day to watch an aspiring filmmaker's art, please go check out my debut short film I released about a month ago. It would mean everything to me. Please like and subscribe, follow me on Letterboxd, and stay tuned for more content. Peace.